Okay, guys, happy Tuesday. We are on our second Dream Team chat of May, and we are just like running with the theme of having fun, bringing joy, really kind of revamping the excitement in our business, both for us and for our customers and our network. And today we are talking about how awesome and fun parties are. Okay, parties are so much fun for us as consultants, for the consumer who's getting to attend the party, for the host who's getting to reap the benefits of the party. And so we are just going to chat about the different ways that it can be fun and even a little bit about the types of parties that you can have. But let's start with the basics. Like, what is the benefit of a party, right? And if you've been around for a while, you know, free and half off Scentsy. At a basic level, that is the best and biggest benefit of a Scentsy party for your consumers, for your customers, your hostesses. They get to soak up all of the awesome hostess perks that Scentsy has. These are not perks that we are going out of pocket for. These are perks straight from Scentsy with our host rewards, and that is free and half off Scentsy, right? So when orders are collected into a party, we either us or our host racks up free and half off Scentsy to be used, and that is really awesome. Okay. Also with that, there's a huge benefit for the consultant as well, because we are then meeting new customers. We are expanding our network. We are earning some PRV, right? We are introducing new product lines or fragrances to our network, which is a really great thing. Okay. And so parties are essential to growing your business, in my opinion, in a very quick way. Okay. It takes very little time for a really great reward. And I love that about parties. And they're super beneficial for everyone involved. It is a win-win for everyone. The people who go to the party, if it's in person, get to see and smell the products in person. They get to ask questions. They get to hang out with their friends. The hostess gets to hang out with their friends. They get the free and half off Scentsy for the party, and they get to see and smell everything in person. And then for the consultant, we get all the business perks, right? The PRV, the new contacts, new people in our network. And then also it's easier to book parties. It's easier to recruit at parties. And it's just so much fun. It's fun to be able to connect with your network on a much more intimate level than just on Facebook or through a text, right? And so then you want to expand on what are some different ways that you can party as a consultant. And we have gone over this like probably 100 times. If you search Scentsy party on YouTube or on the team page, you will see probably 100 different ways that you can party. Okay. But our goal here is we want to make them fun. Okay. And so I love when you are talking about having fun parties is to really theme them to different occasions, right? And this is really where you are able to be creative. Your host is able to be creative. You guys can brainstorm and figure out something that works well for you. But you could do things like coloring a fragrance flower party, right? You can get with some mom friends and meet at a park while the kiddos play. You guys do a very casual smelling testers, flipping through a catalog, plugging in a mini fan, right? You can do a bingo party or a cookie swap party where you highlight bakery scents and everyone brings their favorite cookie and you swap around cookies, right? There are so many different ways, themes to party with. There's really no wrong answer. And especially when you're getting into holiday seasons like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, even like summer parties. You could do, like a pool party. Yes. Oh yeah. I think who did that? Sharice did that. Yeah. And it went really well, right? Yeah. And so there's so many different fun themes. Oh yeah, Scentsy Bunko. Yeah. That'd be really fun. That would be really fun. So many amazing fun themes that you can do to have a party, right? And those are in-person parties. Then there's, basket parties, Facebook parties, text parties. There's a million different types of parties. But for the theme of fun, I want to really hone in on the in-person, being able to connect in person. You can still have fun on Facebook going live, right? You can still do, a fragrance flower coloring thing on Zoom or a bingo on Zoom, which I think you've done. Yep. So you can absolutely still have fun in the virtual setting. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to discount that at all. If doing an in-person is not going to work with your host, sure, absolutely offer a virtual option, especially if they're not local, right? There's many, many ways to do that as well. Definitely not counting those out, okay? But having fun is a lot easier and I think more fruitful in person. And so definitely an option for you to really just think about, what is my hostess into? What season are we in, right? What do we have in common here that we can then look at Scentsy as a lifestyle brand and pick a few products or a theme that's going to fit that occasion, right? And so having fun with the parties, I think is very easy to do, actually. It's just going to be taking the step and then booking those parties.
Yep.
You think I'm missing anything? Okay.
Okay, so the whole purpose of like us talking about parties and having fun is because this business was built on party planning, right? It's a party planning business. It was intended for us to be able to go and as consultants go and be with other people physically and have the testers. And again, this Scentsy was brought up in the culture of Tupperware and makeup, where people were literally sitting around their living rooms, you know, and they're like long skirts and, you know, there's fresh baked cookies on the counter. Like that was literally the day and age. But we recognize that like the party atmosphere may be taking a shift, and we don't want to shy away from it and say we're just not going to do that anymore. But the truth of the matter is that if it's not working for you, if parties are not coming to fruition, if your customers aren't that audience that wants to party, if you're not that person who wants to party, while we encourage you to at least try it once or twice, there are a lot of successful superstar directors that I talked with that have never had a party, which is wild to me, but never had a party. And they're newer, not so much like older SSDs, but like newer SSDs, and they've never had a party. So what that tells me is that there is a lot of success to be had without actually having a party, because I think that they're referencing, actually I know that they're referencing that round table in somebody's living room, smelling the testers, that kind of thing. But what they do is get the scents under people's nose. They do interact with their network. They do meet new people. They are expanding the people that they know. They're getting into other circles. So you can't have growth in this business without that. Okay. You can't grow big. You can't promote. You can't earn incentives without expanding your network. Okay. And so the party part of it is meant to be fun. And that's why we're putting a focus on it. Because if you want to say, I want to have more fun in my business, I promise you, if you book a home party and you go and have a party with somebody, you will have fun. Okay. That is such a fun experience. But there are other ways that you can expand your network. And we've talked about this before. In fact, we talked about it kind of a lot. We did the never be Scentsy naked, being social in real life. Like we literally just did trainings on these, but I do want to reference this idea of being totally socially aware when you are out in public and making it a point to have conversations with people like your cashier at the grocery store, like your barista at Starbucks, like, you know, the people with you in line at the post office, like no matter where you're at, having conversations with people and talking to them about not just Scentsy, right? We're not just going to throw Scentsy out there and see where it sticks. Like having conversations with people just for the fact of getting to know them, right? Just having that normal, not looking at your phone, but instead conversing with people out in the real world, because you just never know. So an example of this actually is for the first time since I've been in Texas, I went and picked up some things at a person's house who was selling them for stupid cheap, some decor items or whatever. And so I went and she was giving me a steal of a deal. And so I brought her a car bar and she was like, oh, you sell Scentsy? Oh my gosh, I love Jammy Time. I love the washer whiffs in Jammy Time. And I was like, oh yeah, totally. And so we got to talking about it and her friend actually showed up and she's like, what are you guys talking about? What is this? And she had heard of Scentsy, but hadn't really used it a whole lot. And she was just saying how she went and bought like some off-brand car thing, and she's like, it stinks really bad, like I need leather for my husband, but this is not it. And I was like, oh well, we have a leather scent, you know. And so totally for 10 minutes we talked about Scentsy, you know. And she's like, let me know when you place your next order and all this stuff. So a total non-related interaction turned into potentially two super local customers to me, right? And so when you go into those situations, just thinking in the back of your mind, okay, at what point could I insert Scentsy, right? Having all of these possibilities and just not being afraid to do it, not being afraid to tell people that you are a Scentsy consultant, not being afraid to hand the cashier a scent circle or give your DoorDash driver a scent circle, or, you know, like you need to be ready for those moments. And you also need to be prepared with conversation and being willing to open up and have those conversations with people out in the public. Okay. So just being socially aware, because it can be fun. Okay. Those things can be fun when you look up and you smile at somebody and they're like, hi, how are you? Or I really like your shirt. Or, you know, I went into a Bible store the other day and I had on that thing that I was wearing last night. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. I was like, thank you. You know, it was just like such a sweet interaction. And so when you're actually paying attention, people engage with you. Most people do. So, the thing about all of that is that if you do that and you commit to doing that, it can reap the same results that a party can. Now, a party that can happen in a shorter amount of time, right? Because you have an audience and a prepared audience pretty much, because they know that you're there for Scentsy and they're there for Scentsy. And so there's that common cause that you all have gathered, but you can still get some of those same benefits out being socially aware, having conversations with people. And so the important part of the parties and doing all of this is kind of threefold, right? And so we're looking at growing our network of customers, right? Growing our customer base. We have to be growing our customer base constantly, because we're going to have customers come and go. The same customers you had 2 years ago likely aren't the same customers that are feeding your Scentsy train right now, right? They fall off, they stop buying, they buy from other people, whatever the case may be. You have to be making sure that you are replacing all of your customers in that way, as far as your business goes, right? Not the relationships. You don't have to replace relationships, but you do have to replace them as it pertains to the numbers in your business. And then it also grows our team, our potential team, our network of potential teams, right? Because when you are interacting with people, if you're, you know, talking to your DoorDash driver about a possible different kind of side income, or, you know, when you're networking with other people and you're showing them the possibility of the opportunity of Scentsy, you are expanding your horizon for potential recruits. And in turn, it will very likely turn into new teammates if you continue to have conversations and plant the seeds and water them and continue an ongoing relationship and show them what the Scentsy life can look like, right? And so again, in a party setting, that's super easy to do, because you're going to have the people who are asking questions about what does the business look like, or, you know, your host may be the one who decides she wants to join because, you know, she's got the free and half off Scentsy now, she's got the host kit, or she sees how easy it can be or how fun it is. Like, you've got your audience, but out in the outside world, there's a little bit more work involved, and there's an emphasis on building those relationships, and you're starting at the baby step of it because they just met you. They don't know who the heck you are, right? And you don't know who the heck they are. And so that relationship can build. And a really great way to do that, very, not quickly, but like off the bat, is exchange social medias, right? Give them your Instagram if it's a public Instagram, or add them on Facebook if you feel comfortable, or let them join your VIP. Like, let them see you doing this business right off the bat, because maybe they're like, oh yeah, thank you for the scent circle, I love Scentsy. But a lot of the time I've done that and people, I don't hear from people.
Don't hear from them.
Right. But if I can pull them in some way, right, on my social media, there's a good chance that they'll watch and they'll watch and they'll watch. And again, it can take some time, but I think they'll come around, right? And it's a better opportunity there. And same can be said for parties. I've had people come to parties and not buy anything. So, you know, that can happen there too. So, and then the final part of it is potentially finding our next host, right? And so, again, this is looking at the party aspect of it. And if you count parties out completely, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, but it's okay to say this might not be what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to try other ways of expanding your network. That's totally fine, you guys. You have to find what works for you. But finding hosts, I know she used to do it. I used to do it. I would have hosts put next host gifts at the party, right? So anybody who says, I'm going to book a party, I would have a gift ready for them to give them, right? Yep. Or the opportunity to get like a free warmer or mini warmer or whatever when they book a party with their perpetual party reward, right? And so in the real world, if you are just going out and being socially aware, you come across somebody who absolutely loves Scentsy and says she needs to stock up on all this, and all of a sudden you guys are having a conversation. She could be your next host. Maybe it's not an in-person party. Maybe it's just she opens up a shopping link, but all of a sudden she's talking to her neighbor about it, and this person and her grandma and her mom, and all of a sudden you've got a $600 party from the woman that you met at the grocery store.
So good.
You know, and so those three things, growing our network, growing our team, and finding our next host should be the goals when we're looking at what does a party produce? And we have to be well aware when we are stepping into these situations, whether it's a party or whether it's going to the grocery store, that those are our goals. Okay. And that is the intention of a party. Okay. So now, if you've got pen and paper, I would suggest writing this down. I like acronyms. I don't know about anybody else, but acronyms help me to like remember better. And so I came up with two. I came up with one for fun and one for party. And so I'm going to see how these stick with y'all. But I think they're just fun ways to kind of just like really like, what's it called? Like hammer in this chat. I don't know. Okay.
Yes.
So for fun, the F is for fragrant. Okay. A very simple way to think about this business, literally. And it was, who was it? Melissa Gratz said it at SSC Summit. She said, listen, it's super simple. We're overcomplicating it. We need to get scents under people's noses. We need to get fragrance under people's noses, period, point blank.
Yep.
Okay. So you need to put yourself in position to do so. And you need to put your customers and consumers in a position to want to do it. Okay. And so fragrant, F is for fragrant. Get the scents under people's noses. Okay. U is for understand the goals, right? PRV, new customers, new host. Those are your goals. Those are your goals with parties. Those are your goals with going out into the world, being socially aware, having conversations with people, understanding that your goals revolve around those three things. PRV sounds very similar to the three legs of success, right? PRV, sponsoring, and then coaching. But here we're talking about new hosts. However, having hosts outside of yourself is a great way to practice coaching, right? Because you have to coach your host. And so that is a great practice round for you, or it's a great opportunity for you to hone in your coaching skills. Okay. So for fun, fragrant, U is for understand the goals, and N is, I haven't talked about N. N is never stop at the no. Okay. N is for never stop at the no. And this goes for all things, right? But specifically about hosting or asking people to host a party or whatever. Don't stop at one person saying no, right? If you ask 3 people and they all say no, don't be like, well, I give up on parties. I guess I'm just not meant to do parties, because that's just not true. We can't take any amount of no's in this business and say, well, that didn't work out, right? Because how many no's do you get when you follow up? How many times do you get left on red? How many times do you ask people to join and they say no? Like, you just have to keep going until, and there is no end date, right? So you can't stop at the no when you're asking people to party. I'm not saying go bother and pester the same person over and over again until they fall over. I'm saying don't be scared by somebody saying no. Acknowledge and move on. Okay. So never stop at the no. So the next part of it is, or the next acronym I put together for y'all, hopefully this is fun for y'all. The next one is party. Okay. So I'm gonna break that one down. So party, P is, it's a little bit different, I promise. P is for people. Okay. You need people to party, but you don't need a lot. Okay. You don't need a lot of people to party. Here's a very good example of this. Is he sick too?
Yeah, he just threw up.
Oh my gosh, poor baby. Here's a good example. Was it at a world tour? No, it was at an SFR. But I think it was like, it had to be like Austin. This one. Jen Audette is a superstar director.
This was just super recently.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it at our world tour? I know she did it at leadership. I know, like,
maybe you were just telling me
yeah,
it from Summit.
Maybe. Anyways, Jen Audette, she is a fabulous SSD. She is one of the nicest people I've ever met. She's been here forever.
Super successful in her business.
Super successful. She talks about that she went to host a party, or no, sorry, she had somebody who was hosting a party, and the host was like, I only have one person coming. And Jen Audette was like, okay, well, we'll go anyways. It's fine. And
she said, because that's what she would tell her team members.
Yes. Yeah. So she's like, we'll do the party anyways. We'll just show up. It's fine. Worst thing that can happen is we'll just hang out, whatever. So that one person comes and they buy an $8 room spray, and that's it. Okay. But that same person ends up joining and becomes a superstar director. Okay. So that person who bought the room spray literally turned into a superstar director.
Yep.
She also tells a story. This is really great for being social. She also tells the story of her sitting in the bathroom, and either her or the person next to her compliment each other's shoes. And it turned into like a $2,000 order, you guys. Like, that's that person amazing. Ordered a bunch of stuff or something, and $2,000 order from a conversation that happened in a bathroom
about shoes
in a stall. Like, catch me complimenting everybody Truly. In a bathroom, like, love your shoes, Truly. So you just never know. So I love Jen Audette's story there, because you just don't know.
And you're just one person away from a totally different business than you have now.
Yeah.
Like, your next customer at a party could be the person who joins later down the road and completely changes your business for the rest of history. Yep. You just never know.
Yep. That's why you have to ask everybody. That's why you have to be talking about your business. Okay. So P in the party acronym is for people. A is for audience. Okay. Know your audience and engage them accordingly. So if you're like, most of my audience is mom friends, so engage them in a way that would entice or excite or get moms excited about your business. Yeah. I'm not saying live there, right? But truly know who your audience is. Mm-hmm. Stacey Behringer, a lot of her audience are Disney fanatics. She does great when it comes to Disney. Why? Because she goes to Disney all the time, mm-hmm. right? She loves Disney herself. Her house is decorated in Disney. Know your audience, and it helps you build your brand. It helps you find your niche. I have to keep saying this, don't live there, right? Talk about all the things, but know your audience and engage them accordingly. Yep. Okay. Because it also helps play into parties. Again, if you just have mom friends, ask everybody to go to a play date at a park, right? Or, give them, a buddy clip and some washer whips and some counter clean, some things that moms would really appreciate as a basket party, and let them do it on their own.
Yep.
Right. Know your audience. R in the party is relay the needed information. Okay. So this goes for inside the party. This goes for talking about parties. You need to make sure that you are communicating effectively what a party looks like, what you expect from them, mm-hmm. How it goes. And of course, there are different ways that you can party. There's different ways that you can do these things, but you need to know exactly how that looks when you step into it. And so that your people are not confused and thrown off and totally what is going on here? You don't want that. Confusion should not be part of the equation. If you're confused about what to say, then talk to somebody about it. I don't recommend a script, but definitely make sure that you know what your point needs to be and you can relay that effectively. Okay. The T is try to book more parties, right? Again, we're back to the party thing, but like when you are in a party setting, when you're talking to potential hosts, when you're engaging people around you, your goal should be booking more parties. Why? Because that's expanding your circle. That's expanding your network. That's expanding the people that you know. It's expanding the pool of people that could be your customers and then your host and then your teammates, right? We have to constantly be expanding our circle, and we do that by other people inviting us into theirs. Okay. And then the why for a party, the final one is be you, which I know starts with the B, but you are the important part of a party. Mm-hmm. Okay. The host is important, but you are important, because when you show up to the party, everybody's going to be looking to you to tell them what they should know. Right. Yep. And hear me very clearly. You don't have to know everything. In fact, I don't know everything. I still go to my site and look up how much something costs on a day-to-day basis. All okay. And so you don't need to know everything. What you need to know is what you love and what will further what you want to accomplish, right? Mm-hmm. You want new customers. Okay. Think about what you would want a new Scentsy customer to experience, right? Wax and warmers. Well, that's a clear one. That's the bread and butter of our business. Washer whips are a good one because that's a gateway drug to Scentsy, right? You know, if they've got kids, buddies are really great to introduce them to. We've got new buddies coming out the wazoo all the dang time, right? So being yourself and talking about what you love, talking about what engages you, talking about the experiences that you've had with Scentsy, and that also goes for what your Scentsy business does for you and your family, right? And what it means to you. But going to a party, going to any type of situation, going to the post office, be your dang self, okay? Because people are going to connect with you, and they're going to buy from you, and they're going to join for you, and they're going to connect with you. Yes. And so showing up as anybody else is doing yourself a huge disservice in this business. Mm-hmm. But in a party setting, it is like so important that you like really turn on your personality and really just let people see who you are and how different or weird or quirky or elegant or whatever classy you are. Mm-hmm. Because then they start to see, oh, okay, cool. Like I could do this, or anybody could do this. This is really cool. I think this would be great for my sister, Sarah, or, you know, whatever. You definitely want to just be you, no matter what you are doing, party or going out to the world. I almost just ended it. Yeah. I don't know what is going on.